So recently we got a comment from a new viewer and Patreon supporter who suggested that we do a video talking a little bit more about our backstory, that they didn't realize that we had done all this touring and have had a long internet life beyond just the YouTube channel. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys 5 things that you may or may not know about PathLessPedaled. Welcome back, PathLessPedalers, and if you're new to the channel, if you're into the non-competitive side of cycling, gravel, exploring, the supple life, you have found your people, hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you're always up to date with the new content that we're putting out. So over the last year or so, the YouTube channel has grown a fair amount, and some of you may not be familiar with our backstory. So thing number 1 you may or may not know is that we have a website, and we've actually been around for a long time. PathLessPedaled started way back in 2009. We're actually coming up to our 10-year anniversary of starting this whole website, social media presence endeavor. And before the YouTube, we cataloged a lot of our experiences via just written posts. Remember those? But also prior to PathLessPedaled, I had a couple of other bike-related websites. My personal blogspot page, which kind of documented my early days of cycling, bike commuting in Los Angeles. I also had a website called Epicurean Cyclist with the tagline "Wool, Twine, and All Things Fine" that kind of focused on steel bikes, wool jerseys, S240s, basically Rivendell stuff. So all that to say, if you haven't been to our website, you should check it out. We recently just put up a map that maps out all the coffee outsides that we know of. So you can zoom in, see if your city is represented, who to contact, when to meet, so you can share coffee outside with some cool bikey people. So thing number 2 is we did a lot of bike traveling back in the day. Everything from S240s out of where we lived in Long Beach to our big multi-year tour where we crisscrossed the United States, stayed with a bunch of folks, gave lots of presentations around bike touring, and flew over to New Zealand for a couple months. We had plans to go onward from there, but by that time, you know, we'd been on the road, essentially nomadic for about 3 years, and we were just tired, like emotionally and physically. So these days, a lot of our riding is pretty local, you know, day rides, short weekend excursions, but we do have plans for bigger trips in the future. So number 3 is, what did we do before this? You guys probably know us now pretty well from the YouTube channel, but prior to this, I was actually a photographer based in Los Angeles. I shot food, portraits, family portrait, the occasional wedding, and I did all that by bicycle. I was a really early adopter of the extra cycle and cargo bikes, and that's how I really fell in love with bicycling and carrying stuff, basically, was by combining my disparate passions together. And you guys see I do that now, combining fishing and touring and painting and biking. Laura, on the other hand, you may not be aware of this, but she used to be a metalsmith. In fact, she had a whole metalsmith making kit that she brought with us on our big tour, where she created lots of jewelry while we traveled, also custom head badges. People would email us designs, and when we found some spare time or a workbench at a campground, she'd go away, you know, cutting up silver, hammering, polishing, all that good stuff. I actually made a video of her metalsmithing business. I'll link to it in the description below. And way back in the day, she also created this thing called the bicycle mustache, which was just fun, whimsical ornamentation for the bike, and it had a minor following and was even featured on Bike Snob. So fact number 4, which you may not know, is we've actually been in Bicycling magazine. A couple years ago, they did a list of the new heroes of cycling, and we were really stoked to be included among that list, specifically for our work with bicycle tourism, working with communities, helping them be more bike friendly towards traveling cyclists. But beyond Bicycling magazine, we also have contributed to Adventure Cycling, to Bicycle Times, which is no longer with us, to Momentum magazine, which is no longer with us. And many years ago, our story was actually used for an ad campaign by Clean Canteen. I was also featured on a reality TV show called G-Word that focused on green businesses. They followed me around for a day as I did a real photo shoot, real corporate photo shoot in Long Beach, California, doing headshots and carrying everything by bike. And that video is up online also. So you may have seen us years ago pop up in various places, but not have connected the dots to the YouTube channel today. And the last thing you may not know about us is we actually collaborated with a friend of ours in Long Beach to create a bike product back in the day. That's right, about 10 years ago. I know it's hard to believe now, but it's really hard to find, you know, a quirky and colorful and handmade bicycle tool roll. So we collaborated with our friend Jamie back then to create the bike burrito. So basically a simple tool roll that you would attach to the bottom of your seat rails using a leather strap. This was before volet straps. And Jamie was pretty awesome with the design. She had a killer logo, and she also shipped the burritos in some foil like an actual burrito and with a little bottle of Tabasco sauce. It was pretty cool packaging, and that also was featured on Bike Snob. If Bike Snob is a barometer for cool things. So hopefully that gives you guys some context, some backstory about who we are and why we talk about what we talk about. If you guys have any questions, leave those in the comments below. And if you like this content and you want to support it, consider joining us on Patreon. Not only do you keep this content coming, but you also get some awesome discounts off of brands that we truly love, or buy a patch or a sticker. All that helps to keep the channel going. And as always, keep the supple side down.